This episode of Important If True is brought to you by Warby Parker prescription eyeglasses and sunglasses. Sent to your home with a free trial of...
Free trial.
5 frames sent to your home for free for 5
frames.
days. And if you go to warbyparkertrial.com/thumbs, get your home try-on today.
Well, I also got a flu shot yesterday, and I just have like 10% of the flu, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You ever get that? It's great.
Too bad you weren't injected with sick muscles.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, he was. He was just different meanings.
Yeah.
Just sick. He's got sick muscles.
I got sick.
His ill muscles. Still, he's got stupid muscles.
He's an idiot. It's the 23rd of November, 2017.
And this is Important If True.
For Idle Thumbs, I am Chris Remo.
I'm Nick Brecken.
I'm Jake Rodkin.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Hey,
that's today.
If you
that's
live
the
here.
day of the release of this podcast, anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Happy that.
Hope you're all fat and asleep and stuff.
Yeah.
Classic Thanksgiving greetings.
Yeah. It's the good holiday.
It's
You don't
fine.
think so?
It's fine.
Wait, what do you mean?
It's fine.
What do you mean it's fine?
Whoa.
I mean what I say.
The prosecutor has stepped forward.
No, I
what do you
mean-
mean it's fine?
No,
Better be better than fine by the end of this podcast.
I like that it's a holiday in which you basically do nothing but eat a giant meal.
Yeah.
But as someone who, so for some people this is a shitty complaint to air because it's the opposite of the problem that many people have, which is that
Yeah.
I for my entire life
Yeah.
have lived within minutes driving of my family.
Yeah.
So every Thanksgiving, it's
sure.
just like, all right, bye, kiss 4 days goodbye. Basically just like infinite. It's a holiday that I would love to enjoy in different contexts, but I will not ever be able to.
That's me as of last year. I broke free, I got married, and that was the thing that allowed me to like...
Yeah, but see, doesn't this
Weasel out of
complaint
that, and then-
also sound shitty? Just like, finally, I was able to
Yeah.
not celebrate this holiday
We
of coming
both-
together
we
with your
both
family
sound
with
shitty
family.
for different reasons.
Yeah.
Um,
No, it's just
So we're terrible. Sorry. Hopefully everyone listening can enjoy Thanksgiving in the way that is most pleasing to them. I just like that it's a secular holiday that is about giving thanks for things and enjoying a meal and stuff. That's the cheesiest thing, but I like that that's what the point of the holiday is.
don't dig too deep into the Thanksgiving lore, though, because it'll probably become
No.
bad instantly.
It reflects also a lot. You know, it's also obviously it's a lot of just terrible shit. So
Are there any
historically,
holidays
but-
that aren't actually about terrible shit?
Well, it depends on your religious beliefs, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's sort of inevitably the answer is no, because even if it wasn't in the first place, an industrial complex will basically form up around it to turn it into something incredibly overdone
good
and the best. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jake, you have something to give thanks for sure.
I also don't know if I agree with that assessment, but I will tell the tale of a thing that I bought.
Mm-hmm.
This is a tragedy, by the way. Just spoiler
It's
alert.
true.
This is not a comedy.
No,
It
it's
is
true.
also that. No, it ends in a death, not a wedding. So it's a tragedy. I decided that it would be a really good idea to order a 1980s stained glass Pizza Hut lamp for the office. We have a MAME cabinet. We have like an old, an arcade cabinet.
Like a cocktail
it's
style.
the cocktail style one with the glass top that you can sit down at. And it's like, it would be really funny to buy a Pizza Hut light if one exists and hang it from the ceiling down over that. I thought that would create a nice, really sort of classy atmosphere for the office. I found one on eBay and I paid.
Describe this because I wouldn't have known.
Okay.
Oh, really?
I know it by sight, but I wouldn't have. Had I not seen a picture, I wouldn't have understood.
If you grew up in a place with a Pizza Hut in the 80s or early 90s, a Pizza Hut, which is a just chain pizza parlor, the actual phrase pizza parlor applied to Pizza Hut far more in the 80s and early 90s than it does now. Where
Yeah.
modern Pizza Hut is basically just a Taco Bell that serves pizza.
Right.
But in its heyday, in the sort of golden years of Pizza Hut, it was a lot more of a chain attempting to be sort of a mom and pop style old-timey pizza parlor where it was like
Right.
big wood booths and
I don't think I ever experienced. I don't know that if I've actually been to a Pizza Hut.
all of the glasses were, I think they were intended to look like they were glass, but they were plastic, sort of mottled red color. And then
Oh,
above
yeah,
all of the
sure.
booths were stained glass lamps
Yep.
that made of like red and white sort of checkerboard and sort of abstract shapes. And then the words Pizza Hut wrapped around the entire thing in stained glass. So it was a gross thing.
Yeah.
But it, it's a specific aesthetic that is now gone.
Yeah.
And it goes well with arcade machines when you think of like 80s pizza
Oh
parlors.
yeah,
Sure.
that was like my
Definitely.
local arcade. Basically, that's the only time I ever played an arcade game was going to a Pizza Hut.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine
Or
was
like a round table of that era was
Yeah.
similar.
Mine were either going to the movie theater or going to the doctor's office.
Mm.
The doctor's office, in fact, had one of those cocktail-style table ones. And
Oh,
it
nice.
had a double-duty Pac-Man and Galaga
Oh, sweet.
machine. I thought Galaga was so cool. That was like the advanced one. I remember thinking, Pac-Man, this is like old and boring.
But Galaga.
But Galaga is advanced.
it is.
Galaga felt like a high-tech video game to me.
It was. It had so many more moving aliens.
Yeah.
Anyway, I found one for the low, obscenely high price of $225 on eBay, and I
So
bought
this is
it.
the like octagonal, right? It's like
Oh no, it's round.
Oh, it's round.
Oh, it's round. Okay,
It's-
round
it's-
stained glass.
It's round stained glass Pizza
Yeah.
Hut sign. Like it's got this stupid gold cord and a gold chain coming out of the top, so you
Yeah.
can hang it. And then eventually, hopefully, were you in a real Pizza Hut, it put some like plastic ivy around the top or whatever. I
Yeah.
imagine. I'm sure.
Right.
Anyway. I had been excited for this Pizza Hut lamp for like 2 weeks, just waiting for it to show up.
Yeah.
And I got many updates from the guy from the guy on eBay from whom I bought it, saying, oh, gee, sorry, I haven't had a chance to go to the post office yet. I've been running a lot of errands or whatever. This is a guy who I think got these lamps because he works in demolition and demolished an old Pizza Hut in Kentucky that hadn't been renovated. So that's how he was able to get these lamps. Is he demoed an old strip mall somewhere and was like, some idiot will pay $200 for this Pizza Hut lamp.
Some idiot
And I
did.
was like, buy it now. So there was a long back and forth where I was waiting for this stupid thing to show up, and then it finally did, and I was really excited.
Yeah.
I was really excited that I was going to get.
Yeah,
my
you weren't in the office, and our office manager was like, "It's here," and had a right. Wasn't that the case? Or no, you were here, I guess.
Oh no, people! I got texts all over that Slack channel
Yeah.
saying your Pizza Hut lamp is
Yeah,
here.
yeah, you weren't
Because I
here,
broadcast very proudly that I bought a Pizza Hut lamp.
Yeah.
Anyway, I went out to the lobby of our office building to pick up this box, and when I picked it up, it made a slight clinking sound, and I went, well, that's probably just like the chain hitting the lamp. And then when I set it down on the kitchen counter, a piece of red and white glass fell out of the corner of the box, and I was like, that.
A pretty unmistakable omen.
Yeah, just like everything about this is bad.
Yeah.
But maybe it's not. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's
Maybe
not.
it's just like I can glue the one piece on.
Yeah, exactly. And then I opened the box. Honestly, it was so shocking what a fucking nightmare was inside that box that I think that I actually only looked at it for like 7 seconds and then took a picture. Because I think if I had looked at it longer, I would have died.
Yeah. We'll link your tweet.
Yeah,
In the description.
it's a fucking nightmare inside of that box.
It's a miracle.
You gotta describe the
so-
contents.
So inside this box, obviously the Pizza Hut lamp is just fucking smashed to shit, just destroyed. It looks like the guy before shipping it saw something online that pissed him off, and then he just dunked the Pizza Hut lamp into the box, and then it's surrounded by like 7 full rolls of paper towels.
When he says full rolls, he means intact.
Yes.
Not,
It's like
not
someone went and just
unraveled.
bought
Bought
the
the 8-pack.
bought the 8-pack Safeway brand, stripped the plastic wrapping off, and then just also threw those into the box on top of the lamp angrily.
Further crushing.
Yeah, I'm sure the intent was a very misguided attempt to sort of use them as like packing tubes or something.
Yeah, but they're completely dense because they're tightly bound.
Yeah, they're factory wrapped still, so
Oh
it had the
my
opposite
God.
effect, which is just basically I think that this Pizza Hut lamp was put in a box with a bunch of cylindrical
It was just
rocks.
A pile of pieces of a Pizza Hut lamp buried underneath another pile of
It looked
paper
like an
towel rolls.
insane archaeological excavation where you're like, oh, these are like the pylons of some great culture, like buried in a desert of Pizza Hut glass sand.
right.
Like these paper towel tubes just coming up, and then there was just a couple of little fragments of cord, and weirdly, like to make it look disgusting, a green plastic grocery store bag.
It was in the pieces were inside of a green plastic bag, which is like, how could he even?
It's a fucking magic trick. It was just the most like I opened it and just. It just felt like looking at despair, and then I had to just close it. I laughed at it and I took pictures of it, but then I sort of just closed it.
And the word spread because you tweeted about it, and we like talked about it on Slack, and other people who are like tangentially
it turned into a
related
fucking
to us,
sitcom episode. It was like an episode of
we'd be,
Friends
like,
or something
hanging
where it
out in
was
the office,
yeah.
and someone who we know would like saunter through the front door and be like, how about that lamp?
Sorry about that lamp, man. Yeah. One person walked in, our friend Zach, and said, oh man, sorry about that lamp. And they said, but I mean, only an idiot would buy a Pizza Hut lamp. And then he just walked away. And then our friend Kevin walked in, and he before even saying hi, just went, sorry about the lamp, man. It was totally, our office was the set of a 90s sitcom, and it was the episode where the lamp broke.
Yep.
The capper on this is that the person who sold it, since they demoed a Pizza Hut and had a bunch of these, said, oh, I'll send you a new one.
Oh, yeah.
And,
oh, my God.
And
yeah.
Chris has been obsessed with how we're going to have 2 broken Pizza Hut lamps. I have new news about this.
What?
This guy makes cross-country trips in his vehicle, and I'm going to meet him in person and pick up the lamp in Sacramento.
I didn't know this.
I
You're
know.
going to drive out to Sacramento for this?
Yeah, why would I not?
When are you meeting him?
I don't know. I hope that it's like in the rain and we meet in an abandoned gas station like that scene in Zodiac. What if he hands it to me and it's smashed?
What if he he's
he
like,
kills
I
me?
got it for you. Reaches into his trunk of his car and just gives you a green plastic bag full of lamp parts.
I don't know why I wanted to get a Pizza Hut lamp anymore, but it's fine.
Yeah.
So that's what this podcast is about for anyone new to the show.
Yeah, this is what we talk about, I guess. Actually, the thing that everyone wants us to talk about, because it's been relentless, we haven't actually talked about robots in a while. And there seems to have accrued in recent weeks and months critical mass of new robot research and development.
Culminating this week, I think, actually.
No, I think you're right. This is pretty new. There are new. These are both Boston Dynamics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's Spot Mini and Atlas, 2 new, I would say, evolutionary but significant evolutionary improvements on classic Boston Dynamics.
Yeah, I think
autonomous robots.
Atlas has been around for a while, and Spot Mini is a variation of one of their other
Of like
things.
a big dog.
Yeah, Boston Dynamics, they're the people who, I guess,
The now Google owned or now Alphabet owned.
No, they sold them
No?
to
They-
SoftBank.
Oh,
yeah.
to what?
To SoftBank, the Japanese,
Japanese bank?
banking corporation. Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, they were a Google company for a minute.
Yeah.
And yeah,
a couple years.
Yeah, Boston Dynamics makes crazy futuristic autonomous robots. And like the first one that they got in the news for was Big Dog, which was the sort of robotic pack mule thing that it just looked like a nightmare version of a horse that had a bunch of
and sounded like a swarm of bees.
sounded like a swarm of bees, and you could try to kick it over. Apparently, they did military tests with those iterations of them, and they sounded too much like a swarm of bees, so they're not used.
Yeah,
but yeah,
surprise.
I think Boston Dynamics mostly for a long time was funded by DARPA contracts, but then
Yeah.
they got bought by Google as part of Google X, their like future tech group, and now they're owned by a Japanese bank.
That seems fine.
They're owned by a company whose name is getting as close as we can to Cyberdyne Systems without it being of just SoftBank Corporation. It's fine. What do you make?
Well, a variety.
So you're like a bank. Well, not exactly. Their latest stuff. I mean, the thing of the Boston Dynamics has their like decade-long iterative process with these robots has been a very good example of sort of like of the amount of space available to rationalize what they're doing as not totally terrifying reduces with time. With the first ones, you're like, oh,
Right,
those robots
yeah.
sound like bees, and they've got
Hilarious.
huge like monitoring cables and power sources
Yeah, they
coming
can't
off of
even
them.
go
They're
very
just like
far.
stuck in a lab, and then you're like, oh well, and it's like just a four-legged thing, doesn't even look like a person. And they're like, oh
Yeah.
well, that one looks like a guy.
Yeah, pet
but I mean,
man.
yeah, Pet Man looks like a guy, but he's like
Just your
he's,
friendly pet.
Yeah,
He's
he's
huge.
just he's a pet.
He's
fine.
He's got these huge cables.
Yeah, he's loud. He's got huge cords on him. Like he just doesn't move well. Then you're like, okay, well the cords aren't on this next one. But I mean, it's still like,
Also-
oh, fucking did a
also-
backflip! Oh shit!
Yeah.
Oh, going for the fucking hills!
Need to point out what from being named Pet Man to Atlas.
Right, yeah.
Like, the-
Just sounds like a mech or something.
yeah,
It just
sort
sounds
of
like a fucking
godlike man
yeah.
who supports the world on his
Yeah.
shoulders.
Yeah.
Yeah, the new Atlas videos. Well, the thing about this Spot Mini video and this new Atlas video that's interesting to me is that these things look so much more like production-ready models than the previous
oh yeah,
ones.
they've
Yeah.
got that molded.
They have like
plastic
molded,
exterior.
actual designed finishing, and yeah, all of the sort of debug hardware is either disconnected or has been miniaturized and packed deeper inside. Like Atlas still is built like wrong anatomically to be a human. Like Atlas,
Yeah, but he reads as human.
yeah, Atlas looks like a person with a backpack that then is sort of ingrained into them. Like it looks like if you made a human entirely out of prosthetic limbs.
Right.
It looks like what Atlas looks like. But yeah, also now Atlas can jump up and down on boxes and do a fucking backflip.
Yeah, and then celebrate.
And then celebrate.
Yeah.
That video that ends with the backflip is so crazy. The thing about it that is both good and bad is that the video ends with an outtake where Atlas tries to do the backflip, stumbles, and then falls over a box, but it does
That is-
not look like a robot fucking up. It looks like
No,
a person.
no.
It looks like, it looks like your vine of your friend
Yeah.
trying to do the backflip and then
this
falling
fucking
over into a
robot's
box.
definitely back at it again at the
Yeah.
Krispy Kreme.
God, yeah. Oh, if
Atlas-
Boston Dynamics really knew. I mean,
Oh my God.
They're already
Oh.
Boston Dynamics for a company that
Yeah.
makes robots that are going to basically become. They're going to start murdering humans in a decade.
sure, yeah.
They are very in tune with what a good meme is, though. Like
Yeah.
they are
Well, see,
viral meme lords.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even the fuck up at the end of the video, that is classic Boston Dynamics. That is the most classic, like, but they're totally relatable and funny. Like that, it's the thing that totally allows you to feel some, like when the guy kicks the robot and the robot sort of scrambles around on the ice, and you sort of feel bad for it for a
Right.
second because the guy
That
who
moment-
seems so in control.
that
and
moment
the
of-
robot
of-
is like, oh,
yeah.
poor robot.
The Big Dog getting kicked over in that very first Big Dog video is the reason that Boston Dynamics is a successful company, I think. And I think they realized that because seeing that robot getting kicked over obviously is a demonstration of its abilities to recover in complex circumstances. But yeah, you have a tiny pang of empathy for that thing because it looks like a living creature
Yeah.
when that happens.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like that 1-2 punch of like, wow, this is amazing technologically. And also I think that I have an emotional response that isn't just rejecting it out of hand as a machine.
Right. I think it's two pronged as well because you have that, and then it also sort of that what comes along with that is, if this thing's not like superhuman, it still stumbles and
Right.
But no, I mean that's ridiculous. Just look how far they've come in a year. I mean
Yeah.
the robot at the Atlas falling off the box at the end of this latest video, that's not like, oh yeah, these things will never be as good as a
Right.
human. That's just we kept doing this until it doesn't fall off the box
Right.
anymore.
Also,
Right, yeah.
next year you're going to see an Atlas that basically can wall jump between two walls like Super Mario, like a thing that no
Right,
human can.
yeah.
And then at the end he'll fall
Yeah,
like
he'll
Super
fall one
Mario, and you're
time.
like,
Yeah, they're like,
he
oh,
fell. But then you're
hilarious.
like, oh, wait a minute, this is actually just like a special
Yeah.
effect, but it's a real
Yeah.
thing.
Already, so I mean, here's the thing. Already, most humans can't do a standing backflip off a box and land on
But
their feet.
all Atlases
so like
can.
the fact that it fell over one time is like, it's not so. What? I can't even get far enough to fall off the
Right.
box when I do a standing backflip.
I can't
Like,
do a
that's already-
standing jump up the 3-foot high
Right.
one that it does at the beginning of the video.
Right. Yeah.
The other one that they showed was Spot Mini,
Mm-hmm.
which looks like an extremely streamlined evolution of the Big Dog, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like a little four-legged. It's like a little leopard or something.
Yeah, it moves around. It moves around like a dog, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, and it has a flat back, which implies that it will either be used for sneaking around or for carrying stuff. But the way that it works in the video, this one was like, I didn't know what to do with my reaction to this one because that thing was basically the size where it could be a toy. Like it could be a big Aibo, which is the Sony
Yeah,
dog toy.
right.
But like it walks by, then it like quote unquote sees the camera and sort of puts its head up in it, like
Yeah.
it's sort of sniffing it like what a dog would
In
do.
that animalistic curiosity.
Yeah, and then it sort of wiggles around and walks away. And all that I could think after watching that and the Atlas video was I kind of genuinely hope that Boston Dynamics can get a permit to actually just have an Atlas and a Spot Junior walk down a city street somewhere for a couple
God.
days. Like just
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's like an art
to study the
installation.
reaction.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they should stop now that they're no
Like the
longer
driverless car.
now that they're no longer a Google
Like-
subsidiary funded by DARPA. They should get some NEA, some National Endowment for the Arts funding,
be-
to have Atlas and
it would be
Spot Minis.
so fascinating
I
if
mean,
that was if
now
you,
that it's owned by a Japanese company, it'll just be at the Olympics, probably, right? I mean, it's just gonna be
Oh, yeah,
walking around at the
totally.
Olympics, just
Yeah.
telling you like where to go,
But,
and then
like,
like doing
yeah.
backflips and like
having-
jousting or whatever.
It'll be
just,
doing whatever the sport is.
just having Atlas sitting down at a coffee shop,
Better than
like
the human competitors.
thumbing through an iPhone with Spot Mini on a leash, then like paying, getting up, walking Spot Mini to the dog park, taking the leash off, and then just like waving to a couple people, and
Yeah.
then getting in a car and going home.
Yeah.
Which it drives, obviously, is the secret reveal. It gets into the surprise revealed Tesla Roadster 2 and drives away at 3,000 miles an hour. But just watching
And never
people,
comes back.
Yeah.
because you see things like these in theme parks, but they're not ever actually fully autonomous. Either like both in all meanings of like they can't like. You know, there's like weird theme park characters in theme parks that act inside of regular human, like alongside people, but it's never a robot that can also just get up and walk away, and you have no idea if it has a
Right.
handler or if there's a guy in there or what the fuck it is. I know that what I'm proposing is actually probably terrible in terms of just getting people acclimated to hang out near a robot, but these two videos were so close to sort of living, feeling behavior that I would just be really curious to see if you could actually get them to endear themselves to people by just being sort of innocuously placed in society and occasionally just regard you in a friendly manner and then go along their business. What would that actually, what would it do? Like, I wonder if they're past the threshold of your brain instantly rejecting them. Is what
I don't
I'm saying.
know. I was thinking about this
They're
because
really close right now.
I was thinking about that general kind of thing because of what happened recently, where Saudi Arabia granted citizenship to that robot named Sophia.
Yeah.
Which is unlike these, designed to, look much more like a human being. I mean,
Yeah.
they intentionally left the back of her head unskinned.
It's like an ex
So-
machina human.
Yeah, it's like a
basically.
total ex machina person. And I was thinking about that. Like, I don't really even know if Sophia is like a particularly advanced version of a robot, but the fact that they give her a sort of synthetic skin human face allows us to even remotely consider, oh, should this robot have citizenship? Obviously, the answer is no. But whatever, one country gave that to her anyway.
yeah.
Because I was thinking, like, she isn't any different in terms of her sort of cognitive abilities than just a cube of metal with the exact same software inside of it that just has a speaker on it, right? That is, presumably, you could put all of the same functions she has, except for maybe walking around, into just into a robot with wheels, a box with wheels on it, and a speaker and some microphones. And like, you wouldn't ever give that citizenship, but why not? It's the exact same
So
thing.
C-3PO has citizenship, but R2-D2 does not.
I would argue even in Star Wars, we see C-3PO
Yeah.
as more
No,
human than R2-D2. And R2-D2 was chosen to speak in like bleep bloop language, even though there's absolutely no reason he couldn't have just a speaker
God, if you
in
just
his little
if you
robot
went,
body.
if you went into
that
Star
just-
Wars and just edited it so that it was completely reversed every time C-3PO does something, he just makes bleep bloops, but then there's just a weird human voice coming out of R2-D2, like
Archie just like, I'm fucking trying, okay? I'm trying. I'm getting the thing out of the computer. You can't do this. And then C-3PO just goes, like,
Yeah, I think.
why
about
do they
this
talk
shit-
to you?
I think about this shit a lot because Luke like understands what R2-D2 says and responds to him, and R2-D2 is just like bleep bloop bleep. So he's clearly a fully functioning like sentient being of some sort with emotions. It's quite clear because he like fucks around with C-3PO all the time. in a way that clearly is like they're like passive aggressive friends. But no one, but it's like there's this implicit understanding that R2-D2 is basically a toy. He's essentially just like a sort of mechanically inclined toy who toddles around and sometimes makes like flight calculations.
Just like, Spot Mini actually is the first sentient Boston Dynamics robot that has like awareness, but we'll never know that because it looks like a dog.
Right.
Whereas Atlas, just like all Atlas's job really is just to walk Spot Mini.
Yeah. But even when I think about this, I can't get my brain past the sort of humanoid like bias.
Really? You think that if Spot Mini, that stupid yellow dog robot, walked up to you and just started having a really meaningful conversation with you about its existence?
Well, okay.
And then it was like, I think that I actually deserve rights as a sentient being in this country.
Well, okay, that would be fucked up, and I would feel really
and then,
weird
and
about
then
it.
Atlas, but with like a perfect human face, walks up and just like goes, and then hands you that it's been granted citizenship.
It flashes its driver's license.
It's got a green card, but it just goes.
Yeah,
and
Spot
like,
Mini's
what
like,
a conundrum! And the Spot Mini, oh god!
But I feel like the Star Wars example is really like gives credence to what I'm talking about. I feel like this is the thing.
Does it matter if it's the version of R2-D2 that can fly? Like if it could fly? Are you more into it?
You know, I don't know. That's a good point. The little booster.
Yeah, if it can see you at eye level, is that better?
It just hovers up to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. R2-D2 hovers up to you 3 feet off the ground and then delivers C-3PO lines into your face. Creepy.
R2-D2 floats 3 feet up and just goes, oh. And then just leaves again.
You listening, Ryan Johnson?
He already thought of this, dude. That guy's real smart.
That's true. Yeah.
What a strange thing that would be. Sorry, just a tiny Star Wars thing. If Ryan Johnson was like, I'm going to bring back R2-D2 flying. I thought that George Lucas got that one thing right in episode 3. And then he talks now, too.
He just talks.
He just talks. I'm
Also
voicing
played
it.
by
What a weird
God! Voiced by Ryan Johnson.
Yeah.
This is my self-insert character.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi, I'm Ryan Johnson, director of Star Wars The Last Jedi. Please join me on this interactive experience.
Nice to meet you.
God, and then C-3PO just, I don't know what he's saying.
I don't know what that is.
R2-D2.
This scene contains many practical elements.
Ignore him, Master Luke.
God, the idea of R2-D2 coming back and seeing Luke
Running
Skywalker for the first time.
commentary.
Just like, hey, Luke.
Well,
Good to see you again.
That's completely out of control. But in the Star Trek: The Next Generation movies, they had Data, the android, who was unable to like experience human emotions, and he couldn't use contractions and all this whatever. But at some point in one of the movies,
I love that that's the thing that he can't do.
I know.
But whatever. Anyway, go
in
ahead.
one of the movies, someone finally gives him, or I think he's from one of the old episodes, he's had like a chip from his creator that if he put in him, he would be able to experience emotions, and he does it so that the actor can just start going nuts and be wacky. But I really like the complete insane idea that R2-D2 sees Luke Skywalker for the first time in 30 years, and Luke's like, dude, I fucking did it. I did it. You can talk now. I've been sitting out here on this rock, and I'm like, oh man, I'm so glad you showed up. You got my message of where I'm located, and I sent that to you because I've imbued you with the power of speech. And then surprise reveal in the credits with Danny DeVito. Like,
Yeah.
I've given you access to the pop culture of every sentient universe, and then he puts that chip into R2-D2. And he starts just immediately like blasting James Brown music and stuff, like spinning around, blasting 80s jams and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, he plugs it in, and then R2-D2 just goes, "Hello, baby." It's like, oh, what is this? Jesus Christ. And this is why Ryan Johnson has been given his own new three-film trilogy to expand on, I'm pretty sure is what's happening there.
That's certainly the case. Let's take a break.
There's a reason this is called The Last Jedi. It's like, this has to end. You've gone too far. I wonder if R2-D2's pop cultural awareness would extend to early 2000s Star Wars marketing.
I don't know why.
If he'd be like, Yoda man, Yoda. And then Yoda says, he would say, Yoda duh man.
Pardon me.
Oh, sorry, Yoda. Imagine how horrible it would be if they revealed that R2-D2 was voiced, and he was voiced by Johnny Depp.
Oh.
Christ.
Oh. That's so like not even that far from a possible reality. How does Johnny Depp still show up in everything?
Yeah, I
I
know.
don't understand it.
Who brought us this week's podcast, Chris?
This episode of Important of True is brought to you by Warby Parker. Prescription eyeglasses and sunglasses. And if you go to warbyparkertrial.com/thumbs, you can get 5 frames sent to your home to try on for 5 days for free. Nick Brecken,
Yeah.
I heard just moments ago that you are actually, as we speak, waiting for the arrival of 5 frames.
I am. I picked them out.
Yeah.
It was
How was your browsing experience?
It was very very interesting. I had to figure out what my face shape was.
Oh, that's right. They sort of give you. They're like, oh, are you like a square face
Yeah.
or like a triangle face or like an oval face?
I think I'm like a heart.
I think I'm a heart-eyes cat.
Yeah, and then it
Yeah.
filters them all out for you.
Yeah.
So you don't look like an
I
idiot.
mean, you can also bypass that filter if you
Yeah,
like.
yeah,
you know.
yeah. Maybe I'll bring my frames in for another.
Oh yeah. Well, you too could try on some frames and then get your brand new eyeglasses or sunglasses with your prescription. That's really easy, by the way, too. You probably haven't done this yet, but all you have to do is take a picture of your prescription and just
Nice.
there's a form and you just put it in there and they do it. If you go to warbyparkertrial.com/thumbs, you can get your own 5 frames. Try them on just like Nick Brecken's about to, and like I did recently. warbyparkertrial.com/thumbs. This episode of Important If True is also brought to you by Grammarly.
What is Grammarly?
Grammarly
New ad.
is a browser extension.
What?
Yeah, and it
Huh?
sits in your browser.
Say again?
A browser extension. You install it on your browser and it sits there and it watches what you're typing and then makes grammatical suggestions. It does the like underline thing that spell check does, except it also does it for grammar, not just spelling. So if you use the
Then sort of like
wrong-
thought policing.
Exactly right. It's if you use the wrong version of a homophone, for instance, the wrong there instead of there, it'll point that out. So you can if you
Or sort of like politically unsound thought expression.
yeah, exactly.
That would be fantastic, though. Not the part about political thought policing, but if it's just like, really looks like you're writing a death threat there, buddy. Just couldn't help but notice. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's not that, at least not yet. But what happens if you go to getgrammarly.com/thumbs? You can install this browser extension, and then it just hangs out and helps your writing be a little bit more bulletproof from a grammar perspective.
And it's probably learning, too.
Yeah, you can.
It's getting better at mimicking human speech.
Exactly. You can improve your own grammar and probably teach a neural network how to understand human beings better, so that they too can one day earn their own citizenship from a variety of countries. I mean, I don't know if that's what Grammarly's doing secretly in the background, but maybe it is. I have
But
no
in the
idea.
meantime, all I care about is the benefits to me.
Yeah, write a better email or something.
me.
To me.
Sorry, that's grammatically incorrect. Or it's just like weird that it doesn't have to underline.
Interesting that it understands and approves of that method, that pattern of speech. If you go to getgrammarly.com/thumbs, you can try out this browser extension. It's free. It's free to try out. Free to use as long as you want, actually. I've been using it on my own computer. That is getgrammarly.com/thumbs.
We'll check in with Chris's brain and see how it's been reformed by his relationship with Grammarly.
We back?
Oh yeah.
Shall we come back?
Sure, we're back.
Are we back?
Yeah.
Shall we come back? It's just like the most passive-aggressive.
Shall we come back, you guys? Wow, looks like no one's coming back. Oh, wow.
I really think.
So great.
Yeah. Doesn't this break seem like it's been a little long, you guys?
I declare that we are back.
All right.
What? Fine. Sure. Great. Yeah. Great. We're back.
Georgia O'Carolyn writes, "It's happening. Stay genetically spicy." And she links to an article from the New Scientist, incredibly headlined, "Biohackers are using CRISPR on their DNA and we can't stop it." Here's a little excerpt from the article. It says, "Gene editing is entering the mainstream. CRISPR, a cheap and easy technique for making precise changes to DNA, has got researchers around the world racing to trial its use in treating a host of human diseases. But this race is not confined to the lab. Last month, Josiah Zayner, a biochemist who once worked for NASA, became the first person known to have edited his own genes with CRISPR. During a lecture about human genetic engineering streamed live on Facebook, Zayner whipped out a vial and syringe and injected himself. Now, following in his footsteps, other biohackers are getting ready to take the plunge and tinker with their own genes. This was sent in by Georgia O'Carroll.
The world!
Oh, my God. I mean, I think we all watched this video, right?
Yeah.
I think you watched more of it than I did.
Yeah.
I didn't really watch it.
I only
Yeah.
watched the part where he injected himself.
I mean, so the stuff that he injected himself with, apparently, they're already. I mean, there are pictures on the internet already that I think have
I did not
circulated
see
quite
these.
a bit. All right, well, there are pictures of these like super ripped, like jacked farm animals that they're and they're using CRISPR to just like get
Super ripped, jacked farm. Why are we making the things we're making?
you gotta test it out, Chris. You gotta make a ripped pig. So that it's so you can practice giving tattoos to really muscular people.
I can't find it. They're crazy. It's crazy.
Sorry, I just searched for super ripped, jacked farm
did. That's
animal.
actually what I
have
searched for.
Safe search turned on, so nothing came up.
You searched the wrong sites.
Yeah.
Right, you didn't have Grammarly installed. So they inject these farm animals, and you have to do like multiple injections. But so he's talking about it in this video.
I didn't even know we were doing the DNA modifications in
Yeah.
real time to farm animals.
Well,
Yeah,
Chris,
to
if a
make
guy,
them
if a guy's,
also to make them ripped. Hilarious. Why don't we pick a more like innocuous thing to
Yeah.
Chris, the
change
answer.
their eye color or something?
I can't understand how this disconnect is difficult to you. Sorry, we've invented a thing that you can inject into your
Oh,
body.
yeah, more meat.
That just no, it's not that. I don't think. I think we've invented a thing that you can probably inject into a human body that'll make it super ripped without you doing any work. But we don't want to put that into a person yet.
Yeah.
Okay, let's make like a ripped pig and a ripped monkey. Hopefully,
Yeah.
like a ripped cow. Is there like a super jacked
Yeah,
cow?
you said farm animals. I was thinking of like ungulates and like I was.
Oh.
Well, there is a pig. There's a ripped pig.
Yeah.
There's a ripped pig.
But I mean, the reason that they did all those first is so then you could put that into a guy. I mean, like this cyberpunk ass dude.
That's the
is
other
it-
thing about this video. I mean, this guy is amazing.
Yeah.
He talks just like some guy at your local bar or something. Like he's just like, yeah, I went and bought some stuff. It was like $500 worth of stuff.
Oh,
It took me about 5 minutes.
But
and-
his aesthetic is that of a sort of like 90s tinted like YouTuber.
yeah.
You know, like he's
Yeah.
just got
Yeah.
like wacky multicolored up hair and stuff.
Well,
Oh,
he
yeah.
did stream injecting a DNA modification into his own veins live to Facebook. So, like,
yeah.
I mean,
It's just the cyberpunkiest cyberpunk
yeah,
shit.
we are truly living
What's
in
his
the
name
cyberpunk
also?
future. Oh, yeah, his
Oh,
name
yeah.
is somehow
Jesper Ewell.
amazing. Amazingly,
Jesper
his
Ewell.
name is Josiah Zayner.
I know.
Zayner?
Clearly, he is like Josiah
Yeah.
Zayner.
It's a good name.
That is a name that belongs on like a Netrunner card. That is
Yeah.
a name that comes out of like a fucking cyberpunk film of the 90s or
Yeah.
like a William Gibson novel. What
So-
the hell?
Yeah.
So the grim future that this episode paints right now is Atlas walking Spot Mini from its coffee shop to its dog park,
Yeah.
but there's a junkie in the alley that is just fucking jacked. Like his clothes are
Wait,
just
so
torn off like the
Atlas-
Hulk.
Atlas walks in with his Spot Mini pet.
Yeah.
And fucking Josiah Zayner's ripped in the alleyway with his fucking ripped pig hanging out.
right.
So you've got
But
the like
so Atlas and Spot Mini have just gentrified the shit out of this neighborhood, and all that's left are these biojackers.
Yeah.
Who are just these
Oh, man,
super
biojackers,
Yeah, the
yeah.
super ripped CRISPR dudes and their weird pets who have been priced out
God,
of their
can you
house.
It just
imagine-
makes me think of
can
Pirates
you
of the
imagine
Caribbean,
being-
where everyone's actually dead, but they've made a theme park ride about like what it was like when humans were still alive.
But they're all mysteriously ripped.
Yeah, they're
because they
all
don't
just,
know.
they're all like
they're,
super.
their
ripped,
last.
and they're just laying there with their pigs.
The robot's last
Drunk.
mental image of humans
Yeah.
were all these super jacked, like mega, like just pristine
Oh.
specimens of humanity, but they were also just completely dead inside and sad and had nothing left because all they've been doing
The-
is just splicing.
the intermediate step between now and then is like 5 years from now. Just imagine being a woman browsing Tinder and just fucking
God.
swiping off all of the fucking CRISPR biojackers who are just infiltrating every. Can you even imagine what a nightmare this is going to be?
Why?
If every
For
human being can
everything.
just
If
inject
all these
themselves.
fucking dudes are just like,
Well, like what happens to
"Yeah,
sports?
check
Like
me
what happens
out."
to anything? Like there's Jesus. Like you can track like drugs, but I don't. Can you tell if? I mean, I suppose
DNA's
you have to do like
modified?
DNA tests. I guess.
What are you comparing it against?
I don't know.
DNA of someone who really is ripped? Like, I don't know. What?
Fuck.
Who knows?
Yeah. Someone knows.
I'm just
It's
gonna
not us,
imagine
but-
this junkie being super ripped and like very nice to look at in an alley, being ignored by all robots except the compassionate but still voiced by Danny DeVito R2D2, who shows up.
Yeah.
Nice guns.
Then,
he says.
then eventually doesn't know how to deal with the situation, so a little syringe pops out of it, and he just puts the guy to sleep and leaves.
Yeah, the thing that came to mind for me when we were talking about all this stuff, we ended up going in a different, much weirder direction. But I was just like, we're at stage 1 of the like robot versus biojacker civil war, right? I mean, like we're just right now we're making the things like we're making.
Where we
the
have
belligerents in the
Atlas
battle.
like invented metal muscular man versus genetically spliced muscular man, and they're both gonna punch each other because that's what you do, and then
Yeah.
a slow motion like ripple comes
yeah.
out. So where on the human who gets punched, like you see just musculature, just like Akira-ing out as he absorbs the shock because he injected himself with the CRISPR that makes you look like the human that evolved to survive a car crash.
God, I was just imagining a trailer for
And
this.
then the
that
robot
does
gets punched and just gears and hoses and stuff anime out of that.
Yeah, I was just imagining the trailer for this. That's like, we just kept doing R&D. We couldn't stop. We made them to help us and to serve us. But before long, they became out of our control. And you see, it's like the footage of the robots and the guy kicking the robot, and then years later, the backflip robot, and it's doing all this stuff. And it's then we had to evolve to become better. And then it just cuts to Josiah Zahner. So I have $300, and I decided to put a thing in my arm. Genetic farm
And then it's in the
animals.
background.
yeah.
Whoa.
So we're definitely in phase 1 of the flashback sequence,
Yeah.
or like the montage. This is how this happened.
of the human cinematic universe.
Right. Yeah. Yep. God, there was sorry, I forgot about the fucking dark horse in this war. The fucking weird third force out of nowhere. This is an email that was written into us by Zach, who writes, I just stumbled across this article, and even just halfway through the title, knew I was going to need a hot take from the three of you. Here's the article in question. And the headline of the article is... Sorry. Human mini brains growing inside rat bodies are starting to integrate. So in case you were wondering what the
mini
this
brain.
is what we didn't see coming.
I feel like we've come full circle to like our first episode of this podcast with all of this
Oh yeah.
garbage.
Probably.
Yeah.
I don't even this
Human mini brain.
human. It's one of the all-time great headlines. Human mini brains growing inside rat bodies are starting to integrate. It is one of the most
Shit! Like that. You fuck.
Damn it!
Yeah.
Mother of God. They're starting to integrate.
Integration 66%, 67%.
That guy's sweating wildly, just injecting himself full of shit.
Doctor, what does it mean? I have no idea.
Doctor. And then
The rat just stands up. I'll tell you what it means.
You're asking the doctor over and over again as he is not responding, and you realize he's not responding because he's evolving to take care of this, and he just fucking rips off his doctor's outfit to reveal that he's just now super ripped. He reaches out to just crush this mouse head, but then its tiny paw stops him.
Yeah.
Or actually, no, he gets clever girled. Obviously, he reaches out to kill that one, but then like the closet
other
door
ones,
rips open and just 500 just 30 pouring
pigs.
out. Yeah,
This is
30
Ripped pigs.
30 rats or 30 mice with human mini brains riding on a little
ripped
saddle
pigs.
on top
Yes,
of ripped
yes,
pigs, kind of tearing through.
It's like the fucking Planet of the Apes.
No,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
sorry
like
to say,
Redwall or
Chris, that
something.
this is This is Warner Brothers Pictures presents the Animal Farm cinematic universe. This is
God,
the George
no.
Orwell cinematic universe.
Yeah.
The Orwell estate finally has loosened its grip on all of its properties.
What if Planet of the Apes actually happened, but was far stupider than anything I could possibly have imagined? I tried. Did you guys read this? I tried to
not.
read this thing.
It's very hard to read
It is
all of it.
baffling. It is basically what it says in the headline, which is outrageous. But it's like human mini brains being grown.
I got it now. I got it.
Well, it's basically
almost
human
like-
mini brains growing inside rat bodies are starting to integrate.
I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it. But it's like miniature human brains.
It's
that
very
are like-
similar to the sort of like the growing an ear on a rat thing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Of like
yeah,
sort of
yeah,
trying
yeah.
to use a rat as
a vessel.
Yeah.
But then they realized, I believe, that they could start actually sending impulses to and from this brain.
Yeah. Yes.
And then it said, before it gets
they
too integrated
also-
with they had to stop. They had to.
They
fucking
also
stop.
exactly. Also, one of the ways that they knew that it was like a human brain was that it responded to like psychotropic drugs and stuff in a similar way. So, like, in case any of this
God.
shit isn't concerning enough, they're also on LSD.
drugged out
one's
rat
breaking me.
hippies with human
Also,
brains.
I remember.
Oh.
Yeah.
I actually just got a little physically sick just thinking about a little mini man trapped inside of a rat body.
No, it's not a man. It's just a mini brain.
I know. But the end game certainly points to a gross realization. Ugh.
Yeah, where this just powers that stupid Atlas robot.
Oh, yeah. I guess.
Boy, why not? Really, it powers the dog, who demands citizenship.
It could.
The end.
Yeah.
But right before I can finish that, its head is just crushed by the meatiest human hand ever, wielded by fucking whatever his name is, Josiah Zahner,
I can't get over that. I can't get over how
Savior
good
of
that name is.
mankind.
Yeah, Josiah Zahner.
Comma.
Yeah.
So they
shredded.
they describe all this stuff that they're doing with the mini brains and how they're integrating, and then it was like there was another lab that successfully connected the human brain organoids. As
Yes.
by the way, also Saturday morning cartoons are real. We have organoids and
Mini
human
brains
mini
and
brains
fucking
and
ripped
growing
big.
inside
God,
of rat bodies.
organoids and the human mini brains is
Yeah.
definitely.
Oh, that's a Nickelodeon cartoon.
Nah, that just like fuck.
That's Fox Kids.
We had Biker
Yeah.
Mice from Mars
Yeah.
is canceled.
Yeah.
Let's introduce organoids and the human mini brains.
Yeah.
Executive produced by Steven Spielberg.
Yeah. So anyway, I guess they successfully connected these brain organoids to blood vessels, and apparently that was the thing. It says this attempt veered into such challenging ethical territory
Yeah, because it started
that the
actually
lab
being
reportedly
real.
paused its efforts. None of this other shit went over the line. That was the
Well,
thing.
I think that's when yeah, I think so. When it's like, we might be connecting things that are forming a cohesive organism from a grown mini brain, as opposed to it just being an isolated brain that is not actually.
Oh, right, as opposed to just a mini brain.
Like a mini brain is already fucked up. It's true, but this is like, it's worth pointing out right now that none of us are anything resembling an expert or educated in any of these things. We just really like talking about it.
Yeah.
We should always preface the science
Yeah.
episodes with
Yeah.
that, as opposed to R2D2 talking. Like,
We're experts on
yeah,
that.
definitely
Ryan
unimpeachable.
Johnson, call us, please.
I hope he doesn't fuck that up, dude. If he makes R2 talk and does it wrong, like,
I know. God, I really hope he nails the R2 talking.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You could be so. I mean, it's what fans have been waiting for. I mean, what a shame it would be if he botched it. Like a
When Luke gives him a mini brain organoid that empowers him with abusing with speech.
R2D2's mini brain organoid is starting to integrate.
Mini brain
Says
organoid.
director Ryan Johnson.
Yeah, it'll be teased in a comic.
Yeah. Star Wars fans, look out. R2D2 organoid mini brain starting to integrate.
Now available.
Now available. Well, let's see. Do we have any other? Do you want to do another email?
We can do that question. We can do a question.
Sure.
You want to do the
Haunted podcast?
Yeah.
All right.
We're deep enough into this
Yeah,
episode.
why not?
that
Let's see where this takes us.
Probably nowhere.
Bennion writes, in episode 37, you discuss Chris haunting the pod, which reminds me of a Deep Space Nine episode where Cisco becomes unmoored from time.
Cisco, one of the 45 brains.
True.
Not a mini brain,
Not a
like
mini
full
brain.
brain.
Not a
full
mini
brain.
brain, yeah. Becomes unmoored from time and only returns to his son Jake's location over many years in leaps across the space-time continuum, while no discernible time passes for him. Now, imagine a hell in which you are cursed to skip through time and space and only exist from the beginning to end of a 1-hour podcast. There's no forever long podcast loophole. No one else is affected, but the only way for you to continue existence is for your podmates to conjure you with a weekly casting. How many casts until madness sets in? How long could the others continue the cast? How long until you're begging them to stop?
So
Bennion.
this email was very interesting to me
Yeah.
because a reality in which we are cursed to only exist during the duration of this podcast
Yeah.
is the actual way that the majority of human beings alive experience our existence.
Yes.
That is completely true. Yes.
Yeah. So as far as everyone else in the world but the three of us is concerned, that is what we are.
It's true. I mean, the only other real evidence you have is like if you follow us on Twitter, but we'd know by
Maybe
this
we
point, that
only
could
exist
totally
for
be
like the
marked on
literal,
chains.
it could be like the nanosecond that tweet exists, we exist too. Like
Yeah, but it could also just be a fucking mini brain hooked up to a
imagine
Twitter account.
what torturous existences we have.
Yeah.
Like right now, like
We're trying to squeeze every bit of like
of
joie
life.
de vivre out
Yeah.
of this
So
hour.
really, that like the less specific but more interesting version of this curse to me is you are cursed to exist only during someone else's subjective perception of you. Like when they look away, you're gone.
Oh,
weird.
wow.
Like so for us as people trapped inside just this podcast dimension,
Yeah.
like that's true. We only do exist for
Yeah,
about
yeah.
an hour every week.
Yeah.
Unless we start doing more podcasts, but that really tires us out because
Yeah.
we're not used to it.
This is like how a child understands sort of
Yeah, but basically,
persistence.
if someone
yeah.
else's object permanence perception of you was your only time that you could exist, so if they look away, you're just gone, and then when they look back, you go ah, but like. Oh,
Right.
that would be. I don't know anything funny about that. It's just an interesting conceit.
Yeah.
I guess it's kind of what the Deep
That's a
Space Nine is,
total,
but not
like,
quite.
That's a total Twilight Zone concept.
Yeah.
I could totally imagine someone to like Black Mirror or something. I guess not Black Mirror. That's about technology. But yeah, I could totally imagine that being teased out in a really horrifying way.
Yeah, where if it's told from your perspective, and you feel like you're having like you as the sort of perspective character are having like memory lapses or like just blacked out and forgetting things, but then it's eventually revealed that the only reason that that's happening is it's because you're actually leaving the perceptive consciousness of other people.
Yeah.
Like if
Man,
you're
this is
ever
like-
truly alone, you cease to exist, basically. Like,
This is
that's
what
not what I thought of before either. I thought like it would be tied to one person, but if it's actually
Oh.
like you lose time only when there is no like it's when a tree falls in a forest doesn't make a sound and no one no one's there to
Yeah,
hear it.
yeah.
If in this case it's just you cease to exist if you are imperceptible to any other human.
Wow. So that basically means
You would last a lot longer than you'd think.
Celebrities would be the only like people who get to live a full life.
You say that, but you could also just live in any major city.
I see.
I mean, if you have an Amazon Alexa turned on, do you still exist
I don't know.
because
What
it's
if
always
you
recording
live
you?
alone? I don't know.
That's what I mean. Like if
It
literally,
depends. Is Amazon Alexa a person? Does she have her citizenship in Saudi Arabia?
it's content that can be monitored by a person.
But it isn't. It just goes into a black hole of
You don't know that.
algorithms.
You would know definitively if Facebook was using its microphone to listen to you or not because you'd exist or not.
That's fucking terrifying. Oh my god. Also, the sort of
People
like,
just demand to be surveyed at all times.
Yeah, you would
If
just
you-
have a
yeah.
live stream of yourself going
Yeah.
all the time.
But not if no one's watching it. How bleak is that? You're live streaming.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
fine. I'm fine. I'm going to live stream my whole life all the time so I exist all the time.
Please like and
then you-
subscribe.
then you just go,
Please
"Oh,
subscribe.
yeah, exactly."
Please subscribe.
But in that video, you would like blip between 5 different
Yeah.
like times of day behind you as you try to complete that sentence.
because
it's when someone just flips through your channel and you come into existence and can finish your
Oh my
thought.
god, that's horrifying.
Yeah. It is a
Yeah.
Black Mirror episode after all, Chris.
Yeah, it really is. The more literal version of it, where it's not, where it is just like a person directly being aware of you or not.
Right.
That is how fucking like R2D2 or whoever experiences existence.
I was just
'Cause
thinking
he just
the same
gets
thing.
turned
Yeah.
on and
I
off.
mean,
Yeah.
any sentient
Any of those
machine that has a power
droids.
button is
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Ooh. So there's a full circle.
Yeah, sorry, I left you turned
Consideration
off
for
for
you.
too long, and your citizenship was revoked. What? What the fuck?
You have to exist for X percentage. I have 6 months at least of every
Yeah,
year.
I just didn't care about you for long enough, so you got. Sorry. have to
So
go
you
wait-
can reapply in 5 years.
Yeah.
I don't know. Once you have five,
You have to
build
go
up
wait in
5
line in
years
the
of
robot
residency.
citizenship office, which is just a 5-year line.
Well, this has been bleak.
That's been fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shall we endorse?
Sure.
All right, Jake. What do you
Hey.
got? What's your endorsement?
I'm going to endorse the TV show The Good Place.
Oh, I've been watching that as well.
Yeah,
I like it.
It's a good show. I don't. Yeah, it's
To-
a 22-minute comedy starring.
Yeah, it's a network comedy.
Yeah. What's her name?
Yeah.
Kristen Bell.
Kristen Bell and Ted Danson.
Ted Danson.
who is fantastic. Ted Danson
Yeah.
just rips it up in this
He's
show.
really good.
He's so good. It goes in some really strange and unexpected places. So you kind of just have to.
Just roll with it, basically.
Just-
it's
yeah,
it's
roll
a
with
very
it.
easily digestible show, especially when it's on streaming. I imagine watching this 22 minutes a week on a network with commercials would be really frustrating.
Yeah, I didn't watch it till the first season was already
But yeah,
totally complete.
season 1's done and is on Netflix.
Yeah, and season 2 is like halfway done or more.
Yeah,
than
and
that?
in some regions it's a Netflix show, so not in America, but in some
Okay.
places you're probably also able
Yeah.
to watch season 2 on Netflix.
We should say what the premise is. The premise is that the lead character, played by Kristen Bell, dies and goes to the good place, which is essentially heaven, and it is revealed soon that she internally is aware that she was in fact a terrible person in her actual
and there's
earthly
been
life.
been some mix-up, and everyone thinks that she's someone else with the same name.
Yeah.
Who was basically a literal saint. And the show has a lot of fun with the ways that premise can be mixed up, both like for comedy and just weird. What are the conceptual implications of a place like this?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's good, and yeah, it's
Stick
so
with
nice to have a show like this that's 22 minutes long.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't
Get
full of itself.
Yeah, and a lot of episodes have just interesting ideas that they can explore for 22 minutes and then move on.
Yep.
It's very good.
Place.
Nick, what do you got?
My endorsement is a film called Three Billboards Outside
Oh.
Ebbing, Missouri.
I'm seeing that in a couple hours.
Yeah. So I won't spoil anything. And it's the kind of movie that you want to see for sure, if you can, in theaters with a crowd. It plays, the writer and director, I guess, Martin McDonough, he's a playwright as well. This movie plays like a play. It is presented and sort of shot and edited in the way that, like, isn't... It's incredibly like intimate in the way that it's sort of the scenes are staged and I don't want to say too much about the plot like at all. In fact, if you go in like completely blind, I think that's maybe even for the best. But I mean, it's about a woman played by Frances McDermott who had something happen. Her daughter died, and she's trying to get to the bottom of it, and she rents these billboards in this town, and it goes to places that you just can't possibly predict, but it is incredibly good. Sam Rockwell's in it as well, Woody Harrelson. It's so good, and I really
it's called Three Billboards Outside.
yeah,
What?
Ebbing, Missouri.
Okay.
And just definitely, if it at all piques your interest, just go and see it with a crowd of people, or
right.
just anybody, just people.
I'm really
you want a crowd for this for sure.
Yeah. No, I'm seeing it at the Draft House in a couple
I've
hours.
heard I haven't gone to a film in a long time and had like audible gasps and just like people
Interesting.
crying and people laughing. Like
Wow.
from scene to scene, it was this like roller coaster experience. It's a good one to see in a theater.
That's cool. I'm excited. Martin McDonough, by the way, is probably best known for his film In Bruges.
Yeah.
Which you might have seen. Yeah, I'm really excited, and I'm really excited for to see Frances McDormand in a big lead role because I think she is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
And has sort of always existed at, I think, the kind of the periphery of top tier.
Fargo is probably
actors.
the
Fargo
one
being
where
the
she,
big exception.
Yeah.
For sure. And that's definitely what she's best known for. But that was a long time ago at this point.
Everybody in this movie knocks it out of the park, in my
Yeah.
opinion. It's really fucking good.
I'm excited
Nice.
to see it. I'm glad to get a positive recommendation. I'm going to recommend something that, as I'm thinking about it, I'm hoping I haven't previously endorsed it. So if I have, you guys can remind me. But I am going to endorse another kitchen thing. This is Nick and I have been on a lot of kitchen-related stuff recently, but this is a good one, I think. Cheap, good. Just those little plastic tub, just like little plastic, one step away from disposable plastic clear tubs that you probably best know them from getting like takeout or delivery food, and they're just the little totally nondescript kind of clear white plastic tubs.
Yeah.
That
if you order
like ramen
or pho or something.
Yeah.
Exactly. They come in that. Yeah. And you can get dozens of them for really cheap on Amazon or
and then
whatever.
throw them right in the trash.
I clean. So this is what's actually nice about them. So I reuse them. Like
Put trash in them.
They're good for storing whatever, mainly leftovers. I use them for leftovers when I make stock or like large batches of tomato sauce. I'll divvy it up amongst these, put those in the freezer, and then I know each one's like, okay, each one of these is 1.5 cups of stock. So it's really easy to, if I wanted to frost some, take it out. But they're also just great for making leftovers, taking lunch to work, all that kind of stuff. They are sturdy enough to be reused many, many, many times. They're really cheap. It's just one of those great little things you can get for your kitchen that if you cook a lot, it's incredibly handy. So just cheap plastic food tubs is my endorsement this week.
Nice.
Because I'm continue to be this kind of specific, boring asshole. So
no, it's good.
I'll find the ones I got and link them in the description. All right. And that is it for this week's Important If True. Thank you so much for joining us.
Anytime. Happy to be here.
Oh, yeah, good. Oh, we should say one thing actually before we take off.
Oh, no.
Which is we don't know exactly what we're going to do about this. We have yet to really figure out this logistically, but Nick Brecken is moving to Canada.
Yep.
Yeah.
I sure am.
Your girlfriend Janelle got a cool job in Vancouver.
Yeah. We're going to go up there maybe for 5 months, maybe for longer. Don't know yet. Probably just 5 months, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're hoping he comes back in 5 months or so.
I'm like nicer.
Better. Comes back with jacked with a human mini brain.
Yeah.
But our intention is to not stop doing this podcast. We are hoping to figure out a remote recording setup that will allow us to continue as closely as possible to how the podcast is now. We have to figure out how to make that work. Hopefully we do that and it's fine. I'm sure you will hear more about it soon. I wouldn't be surprised if we ended up having to take a week off or whatever to figure that out. Yeah. But that's something to be aware of. And good luck to you and Janelle.
Thanks.
Nick Brecken in Vancouver.
Yeah, congrats, Janelle.
Congrats, Janelle. Congrats. All right, well, that is it. That's our episode this week of Important If True. If you have questions for us, if you need us to work anything out, figure anything out, you've got a problem you're dealing with, send it to questions@importantiftrue.com. And I'm just going to go ahead and say that if you have any sort of more human scale problems, they're welcome as well. We have
preferred maybe.
Yeah, preferred probably at this point. We have our email has sort of I would say recursively circled back at on itself to the point that now a lot of the email we get are incredibly overwrought, I would say sort of genie-related quandaries or incredibly specific, like technical, hypothetical situations that are very overbuilt. If you just have simple problems that you'd like us to take a crack at, those are more than welcome also. You can send those right along to questions@importantiftrue.com. We're happy to get any email, but just gonna throw that out there for you to chew on. Anyway, our website is importantiftrue.com, and there you can find all the places that we reside on the internet. As a reminder, every episode of this podcast has a video version that goes up on YouTube, and those are embedded in all the episode pages on our website, importantiftrue.com. We also have a forum in which listeners discuss the podcast every week on the Idle forums, and each episode page links to that week's thread. And that is a just fun place to talk about what we talked about each week. And finally, our Patreon campaign is patreon.com/idlethumbs, where you can get ad-free versions of this podcast and our video game podcast, Idle Thumbs. as well as some other perks, all of which are explained on that page, patreon.com/idlethumbs. All right, I'm sorry for so much housekeeping there, but I'll wrap it up. That's it for this week's Important If True. For Idle Thumbs, I am Chris Remo.
I'm Nick Brecken.
I'm Jake Rodkin.
Stay spicy, Nick Brecken.
So, R2-D2.
What?
And trying to figure out if R2-D2 is sentient or not.
Yeah?
Luke Skywalker plugs in this little chip that he's made that lets R2-D2 talk, and then R2-D2 just ambles around as normal, but the only thing he says instead of beeping is the words if he's just like,
what? Where did this I thought you were like describing an actual thing that you found out about Star Wars.
He's like hacking into the computer, doing everything that you ask as usual, but just saying
This is horrific.
So what do you think? What's the ruling on it?
Dude, I gotta tell you, you just put me through an intense, like, psychological whiplash just now. We all know the greatest muscle is the brain.
What if the brain was a muscle? I gotta think real hard.
That's what it sounds like, actually. It's like a hard drive processing, but it's just that noise.
God, I gotta copy the files off my computer.
That's what it's done.
That's like a zip disk breaking.
Yeah.